everybody, and welcome to Silence for Cell Phones. My name's Kevin, here with my friend and co-host Jarrett Hubbard.
Hey, everybody.
And today is a very special episode. I'm really excited, Jarrett.
Yeah, it's probably our most important episode yet.
I think you're right, because I think it gives our audience a good idea of what we enjoy, what we look for every time we step into a movie theater, which is pretty often.
Yeah.
And so I think for them to this will give them a glimpse of what our thought process is going into, different movies and TV shows, things like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Before we get into all of that, though, Jarrett, I want to know what you watched this week, and I want to know your favorite Christmas present.
Okay, so what I watched this week, with it being Christmas, I didn't get to watch as much as I usually would, because back in Covington, the closest theater that's worth going to is like 45 minutes away. So it's hard to make that drive by yourself when no one else wants to go. So as far as what I watched Don't Look Up, the new Leonardo DiCaprio. I guess we'll call it a Leonardo DiCaprio film. The cast is insane. Every single person in that movie is noteworthy. I watched The Power of the Dog. It's a Benedict Cumberbatch film that is on Netflix as well. I watched The Kingsman with you yesterday.
The King's Man,
yes. Watched a little Succession, but overall, I think that was it.
That's fair.
I'm trying to think if I watched anything.
Well, I know you were busy with the Christmas festivities, it being a holiday and all, kind of important.
Yeah. As far as favorite Christmas present,
hit me with it.
Kim Hubbard's not going to be happy, but my dad got me a Ted Lasso shirt, and it says Roy fucking Kent.
Love that.
It literally made my day. So that would probably be that, or he got me a Believe shirt as well. That's got like Ted Lasso's mustache and stuff.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, all the Ted Lasso gear. It is my favorite show. So
okay.
What about you? Same question.
Same question. Both questions.
Both questions.
I switched. I changed it up a little bit because of the Christmas, because of the holiday. I didn't know how you'd feel about that.
Yeah, no, dude, I love it.
So I actually watched a pretty good bit of stuff. We did watch Elf, so that was a thing that we did.
That's your kind of like. Did you get him to watch Klaus?
No, I didn't. We actually didn't spend too much time in front of the TV. We had a lot more family there than I even realized was coming. So it was kind of a big ordeal.
Nice.
But it was very cool. Very nice to see my family. Always, love them. But we did watch Elf. We actually started to watch A Christmas Story, and my mom, who called me out, like when I said that I hated that movie on the podcast, well, she heard that, right?
Yeah.
And so she agreed, and they started to play it, and my mom was like, "Oh, I hate this movie," and we were all like, "Oh yeah, it's awful." So like the whole family just chimed in.
Nice.
So we didn't actually watch it.
See, that's one tradition down.
One tradition down. That's right. I also watched Don't Look Up.
Okay.
And that cast was Leo was phenomenal. Jennifer Lawrence, phenomenal. Meryl Streep. I mean, Jonah Hill. The list goes on and on. I watched The King's Man with you. I watched Sing 2. Music was great. Very much a kid's movie. Matrix Resurrection. And they should have just replayed the first one.
Yeah,
just essentially all they did.
Unresurrected.
Yeah. And then I watched Tick Tick Boom for the first time.
Thank God.
Wow. I was blown away. Truly. Like, that was a phenomenal movie. May make an appearance later too. Who knows?
Oh,
I finished watching Hawkeye, so I had like 3 or 4 episodes to catch up on. So I did that.
That's what I think. The last episode came out after we did our podcast last week. So
yeah,
I also watched Hawkeye.
Great show. I enjoyed it. I love Jeremy Renner. It made me realize how much stronger of an actor he is compared to everybody else kind of in the show.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Haley Stanfield and Florence Pugh were all really good. But I think
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner, him just kind of getting to be like the comedic relief, the grouchy old man
Yeah.
was a lot of fun.
It was. I think he enjoyed it. I think you could tell that he enjoyed that role.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to see. And of course, Florence Pugh reprising her role as Natasha Romanoff's sister.
Yeah.
Elena was phenomenal. She's great.
Yeah.
So I watched that. I did watch episode 6 Succession as well, and Psych the Musical, which is a 2-part special that I really enjoy musicals, and it's my favorite show. So yeah.
Yeah. Is that what got you to watch Tick Tick Boom, or did you watch Tick Tick Boom and then watch
That got me to watch TikTok.
Okay.
So it was that, plus I knew that if I was gonna do this award show correctly, I I almost felt like I had to watch it. Like, you had talked it up so much that I was like, man, I gotta see what this is about, because I love musicals.
Yeah.
And so that was my big thing, was I need to make sure I watch it. And if I had my way, I would have watched Last Duel as well before,
Right.
but never got to. So so yeah. Um, that's what I got into this. Oh, favorite gifts. 2-parter. My
Okay.
mom got me a quick, like, crock pot thing. It's not a crock pot. It's just something that you cook fast meals in.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And then my dad got me a paddle. I guess they both kind of got it, but a pickleball paddle, a new one, and
Nice.
it's really sweet. So for those of you listening, me and Jarrett recently took up pickleball. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
And keeps us active. But yeah, that's me. That was my week.
It's a busy week.
I watched a lot more than I thought I would get to.
I can appreciate that.
So
I guess we roll into it.
I'm look, a lot of preparation went into this.
Yeah, for those of you who are just watching this episode, didn't get to watch last week's, we're doing our kind of year-end award show. So we went back and we kind of broke it down into categories, much like the Golden Globes, the Oscars, things like that. And we're kind of doing our favorites. We didn't collaborate on these, so I'm going to have a winner for the year. Kevin's going to have a winner for the year, because we each kind of saw a couple movies that the other didn't get to see. But we're going to talk about.
We have different preferences too.
Yeah, we also have different
tastes. Yeah.
And so we're going to give our awards, talk about them a little bit. This was a lot harder than I thought it would be, because I didn't realize how many movies we actually went to.
The crazy part is that it's just for 2020, like the movies released in 2021. It doesn't even cover the movies that we watched that were
the stuff that we were giving each other every week.
Oh yeah,
for 7 months now.
Yeah, crazy amount of movies.
Yeah, and like I was telling you, the feel bad is, and how we're going to kind of kick off the award show is, there was movies that we missed that we still want to see, which is, I say it's a feel bad, but it's a good thing, because that means the content this year has been phenomenal. I mean, a ton of stuff to watch. So Kevin, I'll let you kind of kick us off. What movies did you miss this year that you want to circle back to?
So I only had a couple. I almost included the Benedict Cumberbatch movie,
The Power of the Dog.
The Power of the Dog, just because it's Benedict Cumberbatch, and I do love him. But I almost feel like I lived through that movie, like, vicariously through you.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be exhausted. So I don't know if maybe I'll get to that, maybe not. But the two that really, really would have affected tonight's outcome, I think, would have been The Last Duel and Annette. There's a musical that very highly regarded as one of the best musicals of the year. And I love musicals, and it's Adam Driver. So a little bit of everything that I enjoy. I think I'll definitely circle back at some point and get those watched.
Nice.
What about you? I know you said you
Yeah,
had
I
a
I
few.
had six.
Yeah,
So I
sounds about right.
had I had Belfast.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, licorice pizza.
yeah, licorice pizza's on my list.
Yeah,
It just came out, um, but I think it only is getting shown in the Trustville Theater, which is
we'll have
really
to do something about that.
yeah, because I really want to see that movie. The Card Counter with Oscar Isaacs on my list.
Yeah,
Last Night in Soho with the girl from The Queen's Gambit is on it. Spencer, it's a Princess Diana movie with Kristen Stewart plays Diana. Looked really good. And then I didn't even know this movie existed today until I was looking through, and there was a Macbeth movie on Apple TV that has like Denzel Washington and all this stuff, and it's getting like a lot of Oscar hype.
it's actually just Denzel.
It
You
might be.
don't
I
you
don't
don't have to
care.
say his last name.
That's true. Everyone knows who Denzel is. Uh, but yeah, so some of those were earlier in the year before we started the podcast. Some of these are in the later months. Like I know Last Night in Soho was October, and that
Yeah,
was a busy month. Licorice Pizza just came out. That was
yeah.
a
Card Counter is actually it's the Oscar. Um, what's his last name? The guy he's in
Isaac.
Dune.
Yeah,
He's yeah. I actually saw that today because I was looking at possibly including him in some awards
yeah.
for his role, and I had never seen I had never seen like a preview or anything for the movie. I just saw that he did it in 2021. I'm glad you put that on your list.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I mean, I'm going to try to get all of these because I think they're now they all, besides Licorice Pizza, should be on demand or like on
Sure.
Vudu or something.
Yeah.
So they should be pretty accessible now. And I know Belfast isn't very long. I don't know about the others. So I'll probably start this moving forward and kind of keep an eye on them to see if they do anything during award season.
Okay. Cool. So we knocked out movies we missed. Um, let's talk about movies that exceeded your expectations that we watched this year.
Okay. So did you do like nominee winner, or did you just have a list?
So for this one, I only did nominee winner for like the main ones,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, because I didn't do nominee winner, but I was just making sure. Um, my first one was Ron's Gone Wrong.
Yeah.
That was a movie that I just put on my list because I was trying to watch 3 movies in a day in a theater, and it was probably the hardest I've laughed in the theater all year long. Like
Yeah, that's a
it
great one.
was surprisingly refreshing, a ton of fun, very lighthearted, everything you would want in an animated film. I thought it hit. The voice acting was great. The jokes were adult and for kids. So, being a 30-year-old watching it, I didn't feel like, oh, this is pointless.
Right.
But it was definitely one that surprised me this year. Let's see what else I got here. There it is. I think A Quiet Place 2
Yeah.
was a lot better than I thought it would be. Quiet Place 1 was really good.
Well, sequels generally are like tough,
Yeah,
especially when A Quiet Place 1 was so good.
that was my biggest fear because like Quiet Place 1 was kind of like lightning in a bottle type
Yeah.
thing. And I watched Quiet Place 1 before I saw Quiet Place 2 again. So it progressing the story without me feeling like this is kind of meh.
Yeah.
And Emily Blunt, I really like a
Well, the
lot.
best part about the sequel to me was that they made it a great movie without as much John Krasinski, which
Yes.
is, I think, what helped the success of the first one, even though he did write both. But like, essentially, you take out the main actor in any movie, and the sequel's not going to be as good. Usually, I completely disagree. I think Emily Blunt as a standalone actress was phenomenal, and I think that's a great pick.
Yeah. And then the last one I had, and you could kind of pretty much say this for any of the MCU movies, So it's kind of tied, but I thought Black Widow and Shang-Chi were actually a lot better than
Really?
I thought they would be.
Sure.
Uh, I mean, I like Scarlett Johansson a lot, but I didn't know if the whole character could carry a 2.5 hour movie by
Yeah.
herself. And it turns out she wasn't by herself. Florence Pugh, we
Mm,
got introduced to. She's been fantastic. The dad
wonderful.
from Stranger Things was fantastic. I like Taskmaster. I know that's an unpopular opinion among a lot of people. Uh, and same thing for Shang-Chi. Really, we're getting a new character, not
I
an
was like,
Avenger, not a popular character. It's not like it was, the first Spider-Man movie or something where the name itself is going to get carried. Like, I don't know anyone who knew about Shang-Chi prior to the
I think
movie.
I think the beautiful part of Shang-Chi was how unknown Simu Liu was before. Now, we were familiar with him because we watched the
Kim's
Kim's
Convenience.
Convenience on
Yeah.
Netflix. And so we knew he was a great actor. And you can even tell watching the show that this guy can be in a movie. Like
Yeah.
as far as his chops goes, like he had it. I did not expect him to be a Marvel superhero.
Yeah. And I think it was how they did the Kung Fu genre
Yeah.
that it wasn't cheesy or campy like a lot of traditional martial arts movies are. And it had that Marvel flair to it that I really enjoyed. But it was one that I expected to like because there are very few MCU movies that I dislike.
Sure.
So I knew I would like it at like a base level, but to walk out of the theater saying like that movie was a banger
Yeah.
was very surprising to me.
I
So
think Kung Fu did well this year with Snake Eyes and uh Shang-Chi. I think it was a win. Snake Eyes wasn't as good, but the Kung
right.
Fu and the choreography was
Yeah.
very solid.
Yeah, there's been a ton of great choreographed fight scenes this year.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a good year for action movies, good year for movies
sure.
overall. What about you? What were your big surprises?
My big surprises, and I think you're gonna agree. I think you'll agree with all of them. Tick Tick Boom for me was a shocker. I was not ready for
Yeah.
that to be that good. I was kind of shook. I watched it today, uh, and it made my list. And there's no recency bias. It was just that good. If you have not seen it and you like musicals, please do yourself a favor. Watch Tick Tick Boom. Andrew Garfield was uh, nuts, absolutely nutty. Um, Jungle Cruise,
Yeah.
another Emily Blunt, The Rock. I I really enjoyed that movie. I did not expect to enjoy that movie as much as I did. It was very Indiana Jonesy. I really liked the vibe.
It was a lot of
Um,
fun.
it was a fun movie. Wasn't I didn't think it would be that good. My biggest surprise of the year though is 100% without a doubt Free Guy. Free Guy,
Really.
Free Guy was such a, it, I laughed throughout the movie. I didn't expect to. Like I Ryan Reynolds I love obviously,
Yeah.
but if watching the trailer of that movie and you tell me that's a good movie, I'd have been like, no, there's no way that's a good look. I love Ryan Reynolds as much as the next guy, but that's not going to be a good movie. I was nonstop laughter for me.
I mean, it was
So,
hilarious, but I don't know. I had a lot of faith in that movie.
did you really?
I did. I kind of walked into.
Oh,
Now there was
I did
parts of it that
not.
I wasn't expecting, like it being a Fox film and then getting to use like Chris Evans and all of
Are you
that.
talking about Disney?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
getting
I
to use
was not.
all the Disney property definitely elevated that movie to a different level.
Absolutely.
Uh, but yeah, no, I have complete faith in Ryan Reynolds. I had more faith in that than I did Red Notice.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. It's because Gal Gadot, The Rock, and Ryan Reynolds.
there's just unless you do it like Don't Look Up, where there's still two main characters, then all the other big name actors are support roles.
Sure.
It's hard to have three huge names play three main characters.
Yeah,
Not enough screen time for all of them to
that's a fair point.
get their due.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm okay with that. So let's talk about and let's just get this out of the way. Worst movies of the year.
Okay.
Let's just go ahead and because we know.
This was easy.
We know who won. Let me start.
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
one.
Go ahead, champ.
I'm going to give you my 2 nominations, and then the winner of the losers.
I bet we overlap.
I bet we overlap on this one too. On all 3, probably. Malignant. I did not think that movie was good. Not because I don't like scary movies, because they've grown on me, truly. But because I think it was just a weird movie.
It was too weird.
Yeah. A little too weird for my blood. I don't know. Color me old fashioned. This one's surprisingly there. Reminiscence. Because I thought Hugh Jackman I think Hugh Jackman is a phenomenal talent. I hated this movie.
Yeah.
It was pretty awful. It was a big waste of my time.
It was pretty not good.
So,
especially for the hype I had for it.
Yeah, it kind of, when good actors play terrible roles, like RDJ, Doolittle.
Yes.
Right? Awful movie. Great actor. Same thing with Hugh Jackman and Reminiscence. Yeah. Awful movie, great actor.
Or Don Cheadle, and what I'm sure you're about to say your next movie is.
And did we decide on a name for these awards?
You said phonies, so I'm cool with
the
that.
Phonies. Okay.
Yeah.
These are called the phonies, guys. As in silence your cell phonies. Okay. And your winner my winner for the 2021 worst film of the year goes to Space Jam: A New Legacy.
What? That's my shocked face.
Yeah. I have no words for that movie. I have nothing.
I don't want to talk about that movie anymore.
Yeah, well, we're doing it. So
no, I know, but
gear up, champ. You're next.
Yeah, but we don't have to talk about it. I can say it and then be done with it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, look, Space Jam. Okay, the first Space Jam was not a great movie either. I think it's just not. It's just not a great movie. Okay, it's nostalgic. It was good for what it was, a kids movie. Not a good movie. Space Jam 2 was way worse, and I love LeBron James.
Well, like the thing about Space Jam 1 was like, even at like the bottom of it all, even though it's not a great movie, it was fun. Like it was still tolerable to watch.
Sure.
There was no redeeming qualities about Space Jam: A New Legacy.
I will be very interested to see 20 years down the road what kids thought about this Space. I really though, because I don't know if this is a biased thing. Yeah,
I'm not going to let my kids watch it, and if they go to someone's house where they watch
they're not
going to be friends with those kids anymore.
Yeah, not my kids. My kids won't watch it.
No,
I want to know what kids now will think about it.
My future wife can put it on in the background, but I'm not going to be home for it.
All right, Jarrett, your phony award for worst movie. Go.
All right, so my first nomination was also Malignant. That movie's trash.
Weird. Yeah.
And I do like horror movies. It wasn't even something that I had to learn to like. I enjoy them. Too weird. A lot of the pacing was off. There were some scenes that didn't feel like it felt needed. I didn't have Reminiscence under my next nomination. My second nomination is Candyman.
Oh yeah.
Also just an awful horror movie. Like there was no good horror movies this year.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
thank God for these two, or Halloween Kills would be on here because it was also
Yeah, Halloween Kills was definitely on my list of like,
garbage.
yeah.
But I could tolerate Reminiscence more than I could tolerate Candyman. Uh, and then my winner was Space Jam. Like I know it's not new.
Crazy.
It's not new. Hated everything about it.
Awful.
I think the only redeeming factor about that was I knew how much of a LeBron fan you were, and I knew how much shit I was going to give you when we got out of the movie theater. So I think that was the one up of that night.
I have never walked out of a movie, and I very strongly considered it
It
that night because
it
I
took a
knew.
it took a lot.
I mean, I knew what I was getting after. What made it worse, like infinitely, was that I'm a huge LeBron fan, and we watched that movie with the squad, and everybody knows I'm a huge LeBron fan. Let me
Yeah,
down.
he didn't do
Let me
himself.
down, King. You let me down.
He didn't do himself any favors. That's for sure.
No, goodness. So that was our 2021 Phony Award for worst movie
Unanimously,
unanimously.
Space Jam.
A New Legacy. Yikes. All right, so let's get into some fun categories.
Yes.
Breakout actors and actresses. So breakout, who was your breakout year actors nominations and then the winner?
So my first nomination, as much as I hated the movie, and if I butcher this name, I'm sorry, but Yaha Abdul Mateen.
Yeah.
He's
He was
the
the lone
he's
bright spot of that
yeah
movie.
he's the lead actor in Candyman. He was also in The Matrix Resurrection. Um, I really enjoyed him.
He
I
wasn't, just so you know, he actually wasn't terrible in the Matrix movie
Yeah.
either.
Okay. Was
Very
he?
strong performance.
He didn't. I mean, I didn't see the movie. Was
Mhm.
he Morpheus or was he
Yes.
just okay?
Yeah, he was Morpheus as a program. It was very, very weird. You
Yeah.
gotta
You,
watch it.
you don't have to try to explain it to me, but I figured that was the character he was playing. He's in a movie next year with Jake Gyllenhaal called Ambulance that I think is going to be really good.
Yeah.
And he has a really strong performance in Candyman, but he couldn't carry the content of the movie, which is unfortunate for him. But I thought he did a really good job. My second nominee was Harris Dickinson, and he played Conrad in The King's
Sure.
Man last night. I hadn't seen him in much. I looked at his filmography. There wasn't a ton of stuff he was in, uh, but he was a really good character. And The Kingsman has always kind of been a franchise that picks good young leads for their characters. They did the same thing with Taron Egerton when he was the first Kingsman movie. I thought Conrad was a great character. I definitely want to see more of him in action roles and non-action roles. And then my winner for Breakout Actor of the Year, we mentioned it a little earlier, but Simu Liu from Shang-Chi. I'd seen him in Kim's Convenience, like you said. I hadn't really seen him in anything else besides that. And to go from low budget Canadian sitcom star to MC Universe A-lister overnight is pretty impressive. He held his chops throughout the entire movie. I'm excited for Shang-Chi 2. I'm hoping he doesn't just stay in the MCU. I'd like to see him get out there, maybe do some artisan movies, really let his acting show and not just the action side of it. But I definitely want to see more of him moving forward.
Sure. Absolutely. No, I really like that. And I think our criteria was a little bit different. To me, this was more geared towards actors that were essentially becoming household names.
Right.
And who I believe will be very hot commodities in the future. In the next couple of years. I think you'll see these guys a lot. So my first nomination, Timothy Chalamet, young cat.
You do realize he's been nominated for an Oscar before, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily make him a household name. How many,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I guess that's fair.
Um, so, uh, not to discredit his previous work in any way, because I'm sure he was phenomenal. Um, but I am really, because I think with Dune being as big a hit as it was in the general public, that he is going to become one of the most well-known actors of his generation.
And he's young.
Young cat too, man. He's got a bright future. Um, my second nomination, Simu.
Okay.
I agree with everything you said. I'm really excited for him too. Um, he's not like super young, but as far as acting goes,
Yep.
he could have 30, 40 years left, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, he's got some serious chops. I think he also hosted SNL too. I think that's going to only help his case. Things like
Yeah.
that, where he becomes more a public figure.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Simu for sure. And then for me, part of this category was also not just them becoming more well known, but the year that they had in film. Adam Driver for me. Um, Part of that is based on two movies that I have not seen that I've only seen amazing reviews for. Annette the musical, The Last Duel, House of Gucci. Um, I was a little tentative to give him props for that, but you made a very good point. As in, is it Stanley? What was it? No, what was his name? The Gucci guy,
Mauricio.
Mauricio.
Yeah, I think so.
The character that he was playing maybe wasn't the most exciting person in the world, and I'd be willing to bet an actor of his caliber probably knows more about the real life character he was portraying. And so I give him the benefit of the doubt because the acting was very strong in the movie, regardless of him being slightly boring.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so Adam Driver for me is breakout year actor. Three solid movies, all seeming to be fairly high regarded.
I'm just glad Adam Driver's not stuck being Kylo Ren.
Yes, yeah.
And because those movies were awful. And
Well,
he was good in them, but I think, like you said, and I'll probably circle back to him a little later. But him actually breaking out of the Star Wars, I mean, Mark Hamill will always be Luke Skywalker. So him breaking
yes,
out of,
or the Joker.
yeah, or the Joker being the typecast curse or the one name character guy is good because you're right. He can act.
Absolutely. And I think like the more fame you accumulate from doing movies like this that are just really solid, I think the more well known you become.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just he's a talented guy. I think he's going to be a hot commodity for years to come. He's also he's not an old guy either, so I think he's got a lot of years left.
He can kind of run the gambit, right? He kind of do a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of any role.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm really excited to see Annette because apparently it's one of the best musicals of the year, like top three.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know that existed, but if it's got Adam Driver in it, I'm excited for it.
yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Sign me up.
Um, Breakout actresses. I'll go ahead and start this one.
Okay.
I have an honorable mention for this one.
Okay.
Gemma Arterton. She played.
Is she the one from The Kingsman?
She is. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was really good in that. First of all, we didn't discuss it. The movie's fantastic. I
Yeah.
think if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. If you're a fan of the Kingsman universe, I guess now, this was a fantastic movie. And she was a very bright spot in that. And I think she might be somebody who's highly sought after in the coming years. So that's why I put her there.
Second.
Uh, breakout year. This might surprise you a little bit. Alexandra Shipp is the girlfriend from Tick Tick Boom.
Okay.
She was phenomenal.
She
truly. Like one of my favorite parts of the movie. Her and then Andrew Garfield's best friend.
Yeah, Robin DeJesus.
Yeah, he also blew the lid off. It was amazing. Yeah, so Alexandra Shipp, second nomination is actually Stephanie Beatrice.
Yeah.
I think her in the Heights, and then her acting in the Heights and singing, and then being the voice actor for Mirabelle and Encanto kind of shows her range.
Mm-hmm.
That paired with her role in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, obviously, I think she's going to do a lot more in the coming years. And I think anything that Lin-Manuel Miranda will have his name on, she might have a role in. She's done that well.
Yeah, they're pretty close, I think.
Yeah.
So
and then for me, breakout year actress, Florence Pugh takes this for me.
Yeah.
Because while she was in Little Women, I think getting to see her on screen and match chops with Scarlett Johansson, who we know is great. And then obviously Hawkeye. I think she's a candidate for a big future in movies. So
it's great because she was on my people to look out for in our very first podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
She was. That's right. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Wow, that's crazy. You were right.
Yeah. I'm going to preface mine by reiterating Kevin and I did not talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary how much we think the same. My first nomination is Stephanie Beatrice.
No way.
It is. for the exact same reasons you mentioned.
Awesome.
Obviously, she's great in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Rosa, she's hilarious. We got to see her in The Heights sing. We got to see her voice act with Encanto. I would like to see her do some more traditional acting roles.
Sure.
Just to see what she can really do. But if she sticks to musicals and everything like that, I'll probably watch anything she's in. My second nomination was Rachel Zegler. She was the main actress in West Side Story.
Yeah. Also fantastic.
Yeah, very impressive. A lot of Spanish speaking roles. I can appreciate anyone who makes me feel their emotion when they're saying words I don't understand, because there's not subtitles in West Side Story, and it's funny, but it's true. I mean, I can't speak Spanish, and they weren't giving me subtitles, so I had to get all of my context out of facial expressions, emphasis on words, and things like that. And I think she did a really good job. I think that might have been her first movie as well.
Really?
I didn't look at her IMDb, but I haven't seen her before.
Yeah.
So if that was her first one, that's a big come out role for her. And then my winner for Breakout Actress of the Year was Florence Pugh.
Neat.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it was 2020 was probably either 2020 or 2019, or probably a better year for her as far as acting wise. Because she did Midsummer, she did Fighting with Your Family, she did Little Women. So I think that's when she kind of came on the scene. But this year was when she became, I would consider, an A-list. And she's now got her name attached to the MCU, and we all see how that does for people's careers and whatnot.
Yeah, it does okay for them, I guess, if you're into like success and wealth and fame and all that cool stuff. Sure.
Yeah, and not only is she in the MCU, she's a fan favorite in the MCU. I mean, everyone was super excited when she showed up in Hawkeye. We didn't know we needed her in Black Widow, but she was the character we needed to balance that entire movie out.
Yeah.
So yeah, Florence Pugh, I'll watch anything she's in. So.
Okay. So let's get into our next category. With that being said, and I'm sure we might actually have some overlap here, with one exception, if I had to guess. Best cinematography. And if you could tell us what that encompasses for you.
Okay, so the cinematography for me is how visually appealing I think the movie is, be it camera style, uh, use of colors, scenery, etc. That's what I believe cinematography to be. Things that are visually appealing and stuff where I can sit there and say, like, that's a good scene. Like
Sure.
things that stick out in my mind is, I guess, just being aesthetically pleasing.
Sure.
Is that kind of along the lines you had,
Yeah,
or
I
a little
mean, for me,
different?
it's like shot selection is very important in
Yeah.
cinematography. Um, like you said, colors. Um, I I think you'll understand a little bit more my thought process when I give you my list.
Okay.
So I'll give you, we'll do yours first,
Okay.
and I'll give you my selections, and then we'll go from there.
Uh, my first nomination, I know we've argued about in the past, but it's The Green Knight.
Yeah, you're no.
I think A24, as weird as their movies are, they always have one thing consistent across them. They have very pretty movies. They're very dark, which I know is a turn off to some people, but their uses of browns and greens and autumn colors in The Green Knight was really nice. Their wide angle shots of him riding a horse against a stormy background where he's tiny, but you get the whole like swirling winds behind him and things like that. Uh, were very appealing to me. Um, I think some of the shots they chose to do kind of emphasized the story where they didn't need dialogue. So the Green Knight was one. Uh, Along similar lines, for my next nomination was Power of the Dog,
Okay.
a very gorgeous movie uh, for an exhausting film.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot where you're pretty much just tired throughout that entire movie between dialogue and musical score. Uh, but the shot selection was great. The scenery was great. I would suggest watching it just on that and Cumberbatch itself. And then my winner was Dune.
Sure.
When you take a desert and you make it beautiful, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty great.
Yeah. There's a lot of really cool contrast with
Yeah.
that they had, and I was a big fan. So you said Dune was your winner.
Dune was my winner. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, did Eternals creep in there in your thought process at all? With it being kind of similar, a lot of natural landscape. I didn't know if that would appeal to you or not.
I mean, Eternals was a gorgeous film.
Sure.
But I think it was in the same vein as Dune.
Yeah.
As a it's kind of has this like bluish tint throughout the entire movie, which kind of shows a lot of natural light. When I say bluish
Right.
tint, I guess they weren't pumping light in. They did a lot of outdoor scenes where the sun gave you what you were going to see. And I like stuff like that. I just think Dune did it better.
Okay. Um, one of the things about cinematography that I find interesting is the how differently our take on what's beautiful,
Right.
what's aesthetically pleasing, how different they can be. Because it's not like we have dissimilar tastes in movies or anything like that. Uh, but when it comes to cinematography, me personally, I'm looking at everything from the scene itself, which I think is a big focus for you, but like how things are shot. It's always really neat to me to see new angles, new shots. So let me go ahead and get into my list.
Sure.
The King's Man got my nomination. That's some really cool
Yeah.
stuff. I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff I saw last night.
Yeah, I
And
almost threw that down as an honorable mention because there
sure,
was about 4 or 5 scenes in that, like you said, that,
really well done.
and I'm not going to step on your toes, so I'll let you go. But I
No, you're
I
good.
can I completely agree with
Yeah.
your pick.
Um, nomination number 2 was actually Dune. Like
Okay.
you, I thought it was a very, very pretty movie. Very well done. Um, they made me want to be in the desert, which is not a place that I should ever be. Um, beautiful movie.
No.
The winner for my phony for best cinematography actually goes to Spider-Man: No Way Home. I think that movie was so visually appealing that it it it's it is better than Dune in my opinion,
Yeah.
but I think the epicness of the movie attributes to that. So it was tough, but I had to go Spider-Man: No Way Home. Just everything from the fight scene, shot selections to the the way they did the CGI, all of it was just beautifully done. And so that would be my phony award winner for best cinematography, Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, I don't. There's a ton of these categories where you could just say Spider-Man: No Way Home, and I'm not, and I'm not going to argue with
Sure.
your reasoning behind it because you're right. I mean, the movie was gorgeous. There was a ton of great scenes. Uh, I guess what I found out this year is I lean a lot more toward natural shot
Yeah.
selection. Like when I think things are like gorgeous, I think of like I like saying landscapes.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, let's move on. Our
Okay.
next category. Best supporting actor, actresses. We'll start with the actors, and I'll go ahead and go first since you went first the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
last
yeah.
round. Um, so my winner might actually be a little what's the word when you want to argue it?
Controversial.
Yeah, that word. My winner might be a little controversial. You might see him as a main character, but I did not see him as the main character, and I'll explain when I get there. My first nomination, and I might butcher this name, I might not. Um, Jimon Hounzo. He played in The King's Man. He was Merlin,
Okay.
and he is good in like everything he does that I've seen. So uh, I thought he was phenomenal as I guess the one of the servants of the house, the butler,
Yeah.
whatever. But he was also like a, um,
Badass.
yeah, he was that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I really enjoyed his role as far as like his relationship with the the main guy and his son. I can't remember their names off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he was fantastic. Nomination number 2, Robin DeJesus, Tick Tick Boom. Wow, that guy's good, and he actually could have been probably on like my breakout for future stuff
Yeah.
because I think he might also be a hot commodity going forward. He was very good um, in the movie.
Mhm.
And then my winner for best supporting actor is Richard Madden, Icarus in the Eternals.
Okay.
Uh, he was great. Um, I did not see him becoming the like antagonist. I was a little upset by that.
Yeah.
But I thought just acting wise, I thought he did a phenomenal job. Um, so yeah, Richard Madden, Icarus, The Eternals. That was my winner for best supporting actor.
Yeah. I like Richard Madden.
Yeah,
I think that's a good pick. This is the first list that we have no overlap on.
nice.
Yeah. So my first nomination was John Bernthal for King Richard.
Sure.
Uh, Great character, a lot of fun, very charismatic, uh, very over the top, and that's a character I haven't seen him do. He's usually the brooding, he's the Punisher. He was in The Walking Dead. He usually plays these more serious roles.
Yeah, he
Uh,
was the coach, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So him being this like high energy tennis coach, I thought he played really well into Will Smith's character. Um, So he was my first nomination. My second nomination is Oscar Isaac in Dune.
I almost had it. I
Yeah.
did. I almost had it, man.
Oh, I think Oscar Isaac is one of the most underrated actors.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, he does a ton of good stuff. He's going to be Moon Knight in the new MCU television show. I think he was a great father character to Timothy Chalamet. You kind of get, especially in war, you're so used to this whole, well, if you're not strong, I can't love you. But even like Timothy Chalamet was like, what if I'm not meant to be the leader? And he was like, you've done everything you could be because you're a son. And I was like, dude, that's such a dynamic you don't get in these war films. And I love Oscar Isaac. And then my winner for the phony for best supporting actor is Ben Affleck in The Last Duel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't get to see it, but I couldn't call Adam Driver or Matt Damon a supporting actor in that movie. I think they were both the protagonist and the antagonist. But I think Ben Affleck's character was great. He plays a douchey king so well. And Ben Affleck's got chops,
Well, yeah.
Yeah, put him on screen. Him and Matt Damon have been doing this thing for a long time now. So I got him as my winner.
Okay. I like that pick, man. Unfortunately, I have not seen The Last Duel yet, and I knew not seeing that would affect this. So, it is what it is. I'm glad you got to it though, so everybody knows how truly great it is as a movie, because I've heard nothing but good things, and I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
Best supporting actress. This is an interesting one.
This one was hard for me.
It was not easy. I did have to make my picks though.
Yep.
And wait, did I start the last one? Or
I think you did.
Okay, so you go ahead and start this one.
Yeah. So my first nomination was Kirsten Dunst in Power of the Dog. I know.
It's the first nomination she's gotten in a while.
I know. Trust me. I thought the acting was. I thought she did a really good job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much all I can say.
I think she's a fine actress. I really do. It's nothing against Kirsten Dunst at all.
Oh no, it's just I think she just hasn't been in the limelight.
Relevance.
Forever. And I saw her and I was like, holy shit, that's Kirsten Dunst. And then I was like, she's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
She's not just doing the bring it on type stuff. Like this was like, I mean, we haven't gotten to talk about it, but The Power of the Dog is a very awardy film. A lot of dialogue, a lot of dead space that has to be filled with actual acting.
A lot of Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Dope.
My second nomination was Florence Pugh in Black Widow. I think she's way funnier than I expected her character to be. She also went toe-to-toe with Scarlett Johansson as far as acting wise goes. There were scenes where I wanted more Florence Pugh in it. When the movie was over, I was like, I'm glad they're putting her in Hawkeye, because it's a character I don't want gone yet. So good for her. And then my winner was Ariana DeBose from West Side Story.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I loved her as a character. She was a little bit comedic relief. She had a lot of serious tones to her. She was definitely one that acted.
That was the brother's girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm. She was phenomenal.
Brother. Yeah. She was a ton of fun. Very emotional in a lot of her scenes. Like when she was angry, I could understand why I felt her anger through screen. So she's my winner for best supporting actress.
Okay. Well, there was some overlap.
Okay.
I will say that. My first nomination, again, maybe a little controversial. I had Zendaya as in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Um, she's just great
she
in like
is.
everything.
She is.
Um, so Zendaya. My second nomination, I'm actually surprised you didn't say, and that's Sanaya Sidney, Venus Williams from King Richard.
Yeah,
And she was very, very good. And given her age, I imagine we'll see a lot more of her going forward.
for sure.
King Richard was a great
It
movie.
was.
Um, and I think that's a movie that could also see some awards given out. Um, and then my best supporting actress, Florence Pugh. Surprise, surprise. Look, I can't say enough. You nailed it in the first episode when you put her on the radar, and like you said, she not only held her own with the likes of Scarlett Johansson. Um, there were times where I wanted more Florence than Scarlett.
Yeah.
You know, she brought something really fun to that movie that I think it needed, and she absolutely killed her role. And there's a lot of roles where you look at an actor and go, I could see this person or I could see that person playing it. Florence Pugh is Elena Romanoff to me, and she always will be. That will always be hers. I can't see anybody else playing the role because I don't want anybody else playing the role.
Yeah.
She was fantastic. So Florence Pugh wins my best supporting actress um, for Black Widow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Like, you're not going to get any rebuttal from me.
Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and slide over to something a little more fun. We saw a few of these this year. Best animated film.
Okay.
And I will go first.
Okay.
Um, this was tougher than I thought it would be.
It really was.
There is a movie missing here. And you know what? Can I give an honorable mention for this?
Sure.
Okay. Honorable mention for me has to be Encanto. I thought the movie was very good. The soundtrack's phenomenal. We've said it before. Lin-Manuel Miranda, if he's got his name on it, it's probably good.
Did you? This is a sidebar, but did you know he directed Tick Tick Boom?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did know that. He's amazing.
Yeah, he really is.
Unfortunately, there were 3 movies, animated films that I have a little bit higher up there on the board. One of them, surprisingly, Ron's Gone Wrong. That movie was fantastic. Zach Galifianakis. It was just a great movie. Nonstop laughter. Ron's Gone Wrong is a great animated film. The Mitchells versus the Machines was another one. And are you laughing because your list is exactly the same?
Yes.
Okay. Netflix, it was a Netflix movie. And again, it was a lot more fun than I thought I would have. I don't think either of these are Disney movies. Am I wrong in saying that?
I guess Ron Gone's Wrong is a Fox movie, which is owned by Disney. So
Okay, yeah,
I mean,
that's
take
fair.
it for what it is. Mitchell's versus Machines, the same people that did Into the Spider-Verse.
Really?
Yeah,
oh,
it's
man,
Sony.
They're good.
Yeah, they're consistently
really
banging.
And then my best animated film, one of the most aesthetically pleasing animated films that I've ever seen, Demon Slayer Mugen Train was there aren't enough words to describe how aesthetically pleasing that movie is to watch. Yep. You just have to watch it. Anime head or not, is a great as a standalone movie. So Demon Slayer Mugen Train, winner for me.
All right. Well, mine's that exact same list, but in a different order.
Okay.
So my nominations were Mugen Train,
Sure.
and Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
spicy.
So at first I had Mugen Train winning, but the thing that I think set Ron's Gone Wrong above it, which is my winner, is you don't have to have any background knowledge to appreciate Ron's Gone Wrong, where I think you have to at least have watched Demon Slayer prior to Mugen Train to get
Sure.
to get the full enjoyment out of it. Now you can go into it and say this movie's gorgeous because
Right.
it is. It's the use of colors, the reds, the blues at Demon Slayer. They're second to none in animation. But you
Well, second to one, but
are you gonna say Jujutsu Kaisen?
no. Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, I meant like theirs are different though. I don't think Into the Spider Verse they pop as hard as they do in Mugen Train.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the blues are really blue.
Oh, I'm actually on the opposite. I think completely
But
opposite that.
but regardless, Into the Spider Verse is the best animated movie ever made.
Facts.
That's not up for debate.
It's
But
not.
I was just going off movie. I loved Mitchell's versus the Machines. It could have very well won. This was probably the hardest thing I had to pick. I think Ron's Gone Wrong catching me off guard like it did.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think the movie was going to be that funny from the trailers I saw. I kind of knew Mitchell's versus the Machines was going to be funny. But Ron's Gone Wrong, like I said, I rolled laughing in that movie, like tears in my eyes laughing.
Yeah. It was nonstop too.
It really
we
was.
literally just the entire movie we're like looking over at each other and just dying laughing in the theater.
Yeah.
As grown men.
But if you would have told me at the start of the year, like, hey, you're going to do animated movie awards and there's not going to be a single Disney movie on your list, I would have laughed at you. But good for other studios stepping up to the plate.
Absolutely.
I guess Disney had a lot on their hands with other
They
projects.
All right, Jarrett. It's time. We're starting to get into some more coveted territory.
Yep.
Best musical.
Okay.
This one's a little near and dear to my heart, and I believe you have the same love for musicals that I do.
I do love a good musical.
Go ahead and give us your nominations and then your winner.
So my first nomination was In the Heights.
Mhm.
A fun movie, typical Lin-Manuel Miranda style. I think he does what he does very well. It was a decent movie. The music was really good. The second nomination was West Side Story. Not my favorite music-wise, but it was such a well-done movie. I felt that it had to be on this list. For instance, I like the music in Dear Evan Hansen a little better. I guess if you want to have an honorable mention, I will say Dear Evan Hansen, but the quality of the movie from West Side Story, I mean, it's Spielberg. The acting, the cinematography was far above what you got in the Heights. Again, I like the music in the Heights a little better, but West Side Story was very classic, and I can appreciate that. And the acting was phenomenal. And then it's no surprise my winner's Tick Tick Boom. I mean, I shit you not, I have had that soundtrack on repeat in my car for like a month and a half.
It's phenomenal.
It really is. Andrew Garfield didn't know he could sing. Apparently, he learned to sing a month before they started filming that.
Cool.
Yeah, like way to make me feel bad about myself. Like I needed any more help doing that.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew Garfield, Mr. Talented.
I'm not going to rehash anything I haven't said about it. It's phenomenal. Probably I didn't see Annette but probably my favorite musical since The Greatest Showman. And I sent for The Greatest Showman.
Well, let's move on.
Oh, is that your exact order?
It's not my exact order. The movies are the same. West Side Story is my first nomination. In the Heights being my second. Here's the thing. I gave you my reasoning for West Side Story being better than Dear Evan Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's purely because it was a Steven Spielberg film. It was shot. The cinematography was amazing in the movie throughout. And the acting was superior in every way to Dear Evan Hansen. Now, while the cinematography was better in West Side Story than in The Heights, I thought the music was so much better than West Side Story that I placed it above West Side Story, if that makes sense to you.
But,
so
it does.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I tiered that. Tick Tick Boom checks every box. From cinematography to music, to acting. Everybody had chops. I don't even understand. I watched this movie today, guys. I did not think it would have as profound an impact as it did. It is one of my favorite musicals that I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of really good ones, and I love musicals. So there's that. Yeah, without question, Tick Tick Boom, musical of the year, wins our Phony Award.
Yes, sir.
So there it is. There you have it. The next one's kind of big.
It is kind of big. We're getting down to the nitty gritty now.
Best actor, actresses of the year.
Okay.
2021.
2021.
Who takes home the Phony for best actor? Now, you went first on the last one. I will start this one.
Yes, sir.
My first nomination will surprise you. Maybe, maybe not. I hated the movie with a passion. No, I didn't hate it. That's not what I want to say. I disliked the movie, mainly because I disagreed with Jarrett on the aesthetic beauty of it. Not a pretty movie. Okay. Then again, I have a flair for artificial landscape, I guess. Whereas Jarrett likes all natural.
Mm-hmm.
Dev Patel, his performance in The Green Knight was insane. Truly, if he wasn't on anybody's radar before, he should absolutely be there now. He was a great actor. My second nomination might surprise you. Again, probably not. I think this was his best acting role in anything he's ever done. And I am a huge Will Smith fan. Will Smith in King Richard was phenomenal. And I don't think they could have casted it any better. I don't see anybody else playing the role as well as he did. And for that, he earned a nomination in my book. My winner for best actor, young cat, man. 2021 Phony for best actor goes to Timothée Chalamet for Dune.
He's really good, man.
Truly gifted young actor that's got a super bright future. I'm really excited to see what he does. I'm really excited for the sequel. I think he's as talented as you can be at his age. And that's saying a lot. So my winner, Timothée Chalamet, Dune, had to do it. Jarrett, what do you got?
All right, so I do have an honorable mention for this.
Okay.
And it is Dev Patel for The Green Knight.
Absolutely.
He acted by himself for majority of that movie.
I almost put Tom Hardy just for the same reason.
Yeah. Being able to carry an already weird movie by yourself. And I enjoyed The Green Knight. It's definitely not for everyone, but I could appreciate it. My first nomination was Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom. Strictly because we all know Andrew Garfield could act, but it is so far out of what I knew his range was that he could just pick up a musical and slay it. They got my first nomination. My second nomination might surprise you because I am an avid hater of this man, and it's Will Smith for King Richard.
What?
Yeah, yeah. I thought everything
Wow.
he said was correct. I think he took a character and absolutely murdered a real person, right? Like, it's not like he just took liberties and made it a Will Smith character. Like, he was so accurate to what I believe the character is in real life from what we got during the post-credit scenes and things like that. And I won't say for the first time, but in one of the few times I felt Will Smith outacted everybody in the movie he was in, to a point where it almost makes me mad that I don't see that more often, because it was a really fucking good movie. So Will Smith and King Richard was my second nomination.
Wow.
And then my winner for the 2021 Phony for Best Actor was Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog. And it's kind of twofold. His acting in it is damn near flawless. But it also shows what Benedict Cumberbatch can do. He can do the indie films. He can do the A-list Doctor Strange, big budget pictures. And there's always a role for
He
Benedict.
can do British. He can do American.
Yeah, I mean, Power of the Dog is set in Montana. And he's
Midwestern.
He's an English rancher. So it's really just kind of an homage to everything he's capable of. But in that movie, he was truly, I think it was damn near flawless, a performance for a movie.
You know what's great about this?
What?
We should really go back and look at our first podcast where we talk about actors that we love.
Yeah.
Because I think Benedict Cumberbatch was my one.
He was on your list for sure.
I think he was my number one. I loves me some Benedict Cumberbatch, and I love that this year's been great for him, obviously, with being Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. And he didn't have a huge role, but it was big enough for you to see what he's capable of. Mm-hmm. And then this movie comes out, I think, early December, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I haven't seen it yet, but I'll probably give it a watch now.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Going into it, it's very Green Knight-ish. Like, it's a slow progression of a movie. Yeah. And it's definitely one you have to walk in there knowing that it is an award style movie. Not a lot of flair, not a lot of action, but the dialogue is very important, and how the characters speak to each other is very important. And I thought the whole movie was acted well. But
the more you've talked about it, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no.
The more you talk about it, because initially I was like, man, Jarrett was talking about how, a little bit exhausting the movie is. But you mentioned Kirsten Dunst's role in the movie. Now Benedict Cumberbatch is the best actor of the year, which surprises the hell out of me. I was not expecting that to be your pick. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to give that a watch.
I think the thing about it is, though, if you take those people out of the movie and replace them with any other actor, maybe you can find someone for Kirsten Dunst. But if Benedict Cumberbatch is not the lead actor in The Power of the Dog, I think that movie absolutely sucks tap water.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah,
okay.
That's how strong he is as an actor. Yeah. Took a movie that I would not enjoy and made it bearable.
Sure.
So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I love hearing that. Let's move on to actresses. This wasn't as tough for me.
it was really tough for me.
And I say that because I think my top two were, you could arguably interchange them. That's how good they were. I think they were on a little bit different level. I do have an honorable mention for this one.
Wait, do I get to go first?
You
Since
do.
You took actor.
Yeah,
from me?
you do. So you get to go first. I'm just forewarning you though. I do have an honorable mention to share.
That's perfectly fine. Some of these were hard.
So if you would like, please.
My
Yep, go ahead.
first nomination was Jodie Comer from The Last Duel. It's hard to explain without actually have seen the movie. But her having to act the same scenes out 3 different ways, and I can say this about all of the actors, it's really phenomenal. Because for those of you who don't know or didn't get to see it, The Last Duel is essentially the same story told through 3 different perspectives: Matt Damon's perspective, Adam Driver's perspective, and Jodie Comer's perspective. And so you're rewatching the same scene, but it's different 3 different times. And her ability to be good in all 3.
While simultaneously sharing a screen with the likes of
Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Ben Affleck. I never once felt like she was the weak point of the movie. She's kind of the unspoken hero. It is her story after all. So her in The Last Duel, loved it. My second nomination might surprise you, but I had Emily Blunt from A Quiet Place 2. I'm a big Emily Blunt guy. I think she was also in my first podcast. Going from A Quiet Place 2 to Jungle Cruise. She just does movies that I enjoy, and she's never overshadowed. And she carried a lot of the weight in Quiet Place 2 with John Krasinski not being in it as much. So she was my number 2 nomination. And my winner, probably not as surprising, but it's Lady Gaga from House of Gucci.
A little surprising, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed a spot.
I missed a spot.
You did. You missed a spot.
I don't know.
Although Lady Gaga almost made my list.
Yeah, I mean, I think her having to share the screen with Al Pacino, Adam Driver, Jared Leto was fantastic. I mean, she made you actually hate her. Like, she's a despising character in that movie. But a lot of the scenes revolved around her ability to act. And I never thought she was a letdown in any part of it. But yeah, I had her as my winner.
No, I really liked your picks. We had a little overlap, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say. I don't think you missed a spot.
I mean, I very might well could. Like I said, I struggle with the actresses a lot.
No, I totally get it. I'm just, you'll see. My honorable mention, I mentioned I had an honorable mention earlier, so I'll go ahead and say it. Gemma Chan, who played Xerxes, the main actress from Eternals. I thought she was fantastic. I think we could see a lot more of her going forward too. I think she just played the role she was given at a very high level. And that's obviously the rest of my list will have that same attribute. But I think I would be remiss if I did not at least give her a mention. My first nomination, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. I, like you, wasn't quite sure how her movie would be aside from the Avengers, like outside of that world.
Yeah.
And the movie was fantastic. She was fantastic. Um, Scarlett Johansson was my first nomination. Second nomination, Emily Blunt, A Quiet Place Part 2. She is fantastic in the movie. She did have to carry a lot of it by herself in a movie where there's not a lot of dialogue. And it's kind of the theme for those movies. So for you to understand, for her to be able to effectively communicate to an audience as well as she did in this movie without saying a lot of words was brilliant in my opinion. And then my winner for Best Actress 2021 Phony Awards, Margot Robbie, The Suicide Squad. She is extremely talented, albeit in a role that she's already knocked out. Right.
That was because I'm obviously a Margot Robbie guy.
Right.
But that was the determining factor for me.
That makes sense.
On this list was we've seen her Harley Quinn before.
Yes, it's still amazing.
It's great. It really is.
Still.
But yeah, I definitely.
Well, along those same lines, we'd seen Emily Blunt playing this character before. Now, I guess it is a little different. She's not sharing the screen so much with John Krasinski, but it is the same role.
I mean, that's fair.
But there won't be another Harley Quinn. Like, how we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Like, that's like Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. Like, this is my Harley Quinn forever. That's how good she is in the role. So for me, she's my winner. I do understand you not going with it though, because Emily Blunt's situation is a lot different in the second movie. Makes total sense. So that would be my selection.
I do love Margot Robbie, so I'm okay with that.
Emily Blunt though, that was.
I know that if you would have told me that would have been our overlap, I would have laughed.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and we're gonna go with our best film nomination and award. My first nomination is actually really, really tough. I think there's a couple movies you could slide in here. Tick, Tick, Boom. Actually.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about it. You've heard my spiel. It's phenomenal. Dune, second nomination. And to nobody's surprise at all, my best movie of the year, Spider-Man No Way Home. And it could very well be the best movie of the decade, and it's only 2021. So that's what I got.
Yeah. I mean, if you just change Tick, Tick, Boom with The Last Duel.
Sure.
We have.
And I very well could have.
We have identical lists. I mean, I love Tick, Tick, Boom. But The Last Duel, I struggled.
Well, that was a late addition. I had Eternals at number 3.
Right. And Eternals was good.
Yeah.
But it's like, No Way Home is so good.
It's not close. It's actually not close.
It could very well be the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's by far the best comic book movie I've ever seen. But up until that movie, I didn't know if Dune or The Last Duel was going to be my favorite movie of the year. And I saw them in the same day. So
what a good day.
Yeah, it was a great day. But like I left The Last Duel going, that might be the best movie I've seen all year. And then I watched Dune that night and I'm like, well, fuck. So that's how high in regards I hold those two movies. And in no way, shape, or form are they competing with No Way Home.
Actually, just not close.
It is not close. Now, I will say, Some of the acting's probably stronger in my other two, in Dune or Last Duel.
Yeah,
But overall, as a movie, No Way Home, all day, every day.
fair. I look. It already had my vote. You don't have to convince me.
Yeah,
That's one of the best movies I've ever seen, if not the
yeah,
best.
yeah.
And it was just a perfect storm of things that just came together, right?
Yeah,
Nostalgia mixed with phenomenal cinematography, just up and down. You know, couple that with perfect casting for a movie, and you've got an absolute classic, and that's what was delivered. So I agree. I think it's the best movie of the year, hands down.
yeah.
So, um, that being said, let's go ahead and give our top five. Let's just go ahead and knock it out. Give everybody our five best movies of the year. And I started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go ahead.
So if I were to tell you my five movies that you had to watch from the year 2021, Spider-Man, No Way Home,
Mm-hmm.
Dune,
Yep.
The Last Duel,
Mm-hmm.
Tick Tick Boom.
Yep.
And then my last one was kind of a heart pick, so I could understand if it's not for everyone. But I thought No Time to Die was uh, about as perfect as a James Bond movie as you're going to get.
Yeah.
Uh,
And a perfect send off for a great James Bond.
yeah, it was a good movie. Obviously, James Bond probably resonates a little more with me. So that one's a little more flexible, but I was very impressed with No Time to Die.
Okay. To nobody's surprise, my list is similar, not the same. Spider-Man, No Way Home, obviously. Dune, Tick Tick Boom, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, and Eternals were my five that I believe were must-watch 2021 films. Um,
The MCU movies were strong this year.
they were they were really good, and in a universe that I didn't think could get much better. They have only exceeded any and all expectations I've had.
Yeah.
Um, Now we decided to give our version of a lifetime achievement award, for a yearly achievement award. And that just means somebody, actor, producer, director, um, musical director, whatever, in whatever scope, choreographer, doesn't matter. Um, a name or two that we think deserves to be mentioned in the podcast. And I would be greatly remiss if I did not say Lin-Manuel Miranda's name, because he has been everywhere this year. Directed Tick Tick Boom, had a hand in Canto, some of the music there. He also did In the Heights. The guy is truly phenomenal, and I believe had probably one of the best years in movies that you will see from a director producer. That like, especially for the genre, that did just absolutely insane. We don't deserve Lin-Manuel's greatness, but here we are, and I love that I exist in the same generation as his work. Lin-Manuel Miranda is my phony, I guess, high achiever, whatever, for the year.
Yeah.
So there it is. I
He
said
was
it, Jarrett.
he was also on my list.
Was he on your list?
He was
That's awesome.
he had a big year.
Yeah.
I kind of have two that I'm going to share. They're both actors that I think have really stolen the show as far as this year, and it's Adam Driver and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Garfield, I didn't get to see In the Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is another movie Andrew Garfield did this year. But I think just between Tick Tick Boom and his 20 or 30 minutes in No Way Home really just shows how great of an actor he is. He got more character developments in 20 movies or in 20 minutes than he did in 2 movies. And he completely like resparked the want for him to be Spider-Man again.
Oh yeah.
And arguably out of the 3, he might have been the best one on screen at the time, between Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire. Like, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
And then Adam Driver, The Last Duel, apparently a net, House of Gucci. I just think you couldn't ask for a better year.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's a fun guy to watch. And I definitely want to dive more into his filmography.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So those were my 2 achievement awards. And I guess I'll honorable mention Daniel Craig and just say thank you to him.
Yeah. Big salute.
Yeah, for finishing off his tenure as James Bond in a respectable fashion.
You know, there's another person I've been thinking of, and I tried to give him like supporting actor.
Yeah.
But I want to shout him out too. He's an older guy. We won't see a lot more of him in the future. Willem Dafoe was he put on a masterclass in Spider-Man as reprising his role as the Green Goblin, often playing a role with multiple personalities, and truly fantastic. I don't think he's appreciated enough for what he's given us. And so I really like Willem Dafoe. So I'd like to at least mention him as like an honorable mention here. Big ups, dude.
That's respectable.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. So I guess before we wrap it up, Kevin, let me ask you, has your taste in movies changed this year since we started the podcast? And, you know, we've watched some pretty out there movies, not just your typical A-listers. Have you seen yourself leaning toward more things you didn't think you would? Or do you think you're still kind of the same movie fan you were when we started?
So I would say that I am not the same fan. It's a little different walking into a theater now, walking into a movie, looking at things differently, and really looking right. So there's a difference in watching a movie and really ingesting what you're seeing. I'm processing more information as I'm watching movies. I'm like taking notes, like mental notes, looking at performances on an individual basis. Going to a movie theater, while still extremely enjoyable for me, becomes a little bit more mature, not in a bad way, but like, because I still look forward to it. But I know that I want to make sure I digest all the information that I'm getting, because I think it's important to relay that to our audience and really give a good depiction of what we watched, and what we got out of it. So I'm definitely not the same movie watcher. I have similar taste. I will say it's been a breath of fresh air finding a horror universe that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
If you'd have told me at the beginning of the year that I'd be watching horror movies at the end of it, then I'd call you a liar and I'd spit on you in your face. No, that's been really cool. And I want to say it's been an absolute pleasure doing this with you, bud.
Oh, same.
Truly.
Same to you, man. There's no one else I would want to do this with.
Yeah, I look forward to it every week. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I wanted to thank you for that. So thank you.
Buddy, thank you for being a
Um,
part of it with me, man.
absolutely. That being said, I'd like to pose the same question to you as our, as our year came to an end.
I think I mean I'm very similar to you. I've always watched movies a little more in depth. I think my biggest takeaway from this year has been my willingness to watch movies that I don't necessarily, I won't say think that I'll enjoy, but I'm not going to write off a movie until I watch it now,
Sure.
type thing. Because there used to be stuff like, The Power of the Dog and things like that, that I probably would just read the synopsis and say, nah, it's not for me. I like Benedict Cumberbatch, but I'm not going to spend 2 hours on that. And now I'm much more open to, I guess, indie movies or artisan films.
Sure.
This year's been great for him, though, now that I'm looking at the list. Um, but it's definitely made me like just looking at the year in review really makes me happy. I mean, there was a bunch of good movies this year.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that we 7 months, like that's how long we've been doing the podcast.
Yeah.
When we get our first first full year under our belt,
Yeah.
I would be interested in the total number of films that we have watched.
Oh, like counting the ones we
Yes,
do
all of them.
weekly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be in the hundreds.
Oh, dude, we probably broke that. I mean,
We've already broken 100 for sure, but
yeah, probably 100
we'll
each.
we'll be in the hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I mean, there's weeks where we get 5. It's tough, and so yeah, no, it's been a ton of fun. Uh, I really enjoy how, I mean, obviously we don't have the same numbers they do, but like I'll listen to the Schmodown guys do a review or Dan Merle do a review, and like these people that I have a lot of respect for in the community, and when they're saying the same stuff we say, it makes me feel pretty good that like, man, we're not far off from
yeah.
from them.
It's funny because we were driving back from Thanksgiving at your parents' place. We were listening to Schmodown, and we did something similar before we started this whole podcast when we went to Biloxi.
Yeah.
And it is a staggering difference in the amount of questions that I was getting right. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely getting a lot more of those questions right now. And it's crazy to think about the growth in just 7 months. So that's
it's so funny you mentioned that, because like I was listening to it on the way back for Christmas, and one of the questions was, what movie is about medics in Korea that was made in the 1970s? And I was like, dude, it's MASH.
MASH,
Yeah. And I was like, dude, it's like when I can answer these questions for movies we've seen specifically for the podcast, I'm like, dude, it feels so good.
Yeah, it does.
It feels so good.
Before we shut it down, though, I do want to say this. It's very important.
Okay.
I want to say thank you to everybody who listens. We wouldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you. We appreciate guys. We have a listener in Sweden. I don't know who it is, but thank you. Anthony Lenekis.
Yeah,
huge shout out to you.
Actually couldn't do this without Anthony.
Yeah. Every single one of our guests that we've had, who we knows loves and supports us. Thank you. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you have a huge 2022. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that before we close this thing up.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go without what, we're doing year-end, awards, and the biggest award that, I would love to give would be something for our fans. They're just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, you said it's been 7 months, and it doesn't feel like 7 months ago,
Yeah,
and it's so funny because it's like I'll never forget the movie we started with. It's like July 4th, Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Like
Yeah,
it's just etched in my mind.
yeah.
Uh, but no, I love doing this with you guys. We're still going to work at making things better, changing formats, keeping things fresh.
Yeah.
If there's any of you out there that is good with editing videos, we
Please.
could use some help on the YouTube side. As you can see, those videos don't come up as often.
It's my fault.
No, it's not. Dude, you're busy. I get it. It's not like I can help you with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
But so if anyone knows how to edit videos, please reach out.
Anybody not named Anthony Lenekis who does already?
He already told me he knows nothing about YouTube.
Yeah. Did he?
He
does too much anyways.
I might have pitched it to him at Christmas. But yeah, no, we'll cut you in on a slice of our $3 we have.
Whoa.
$3.
That's crazy.
I know, we big time now. But yeah, Kevin, let me pitch this to you.
Okay.
And maybe we can get the fans. What if we did, and I would have to, I don't know how it works, but like, what if we did like a YouTube live when we recorded?
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Because isn't it kind of like Twitch where you can just like,
yep, keep it on there. VODs, baby.
Yeah, VODs.
Yeah.
And so maybe if we can Zoom and link our YouTube, we can still get it over to Anchor and just go ahead and have it on
that would be
YouTube.
Hot. Oh my goodness.
So maybe we can screw around with that. And get it up same day. Because one of these days I'm gonna have to backlog. What?
Nothing. I'm a child. Go ahead.
It's because I say get. It's because I say get it up. You see, I'm glad everyone. I'm glad everyone gets to see what I deal with every day of my life.
Oh man, that's awesome. You know me so well.
Yes, but I guess we actually have a bigger issue at hand.
Mm-hmm.
What's January's theme?
January's theme. Yes, I was prepared for this question. January's theme will be mystery. There's a murder mystery coming out called Death on the Nile. And
that's in February.
Well, we're getting ready for it, Garrett. That's why this is happening in January. So we're gonna do a murder mystery / mystery.
Okay.
Anything mystery or mysterious.
Okay.
So you okay with that?
Yeah,
I love. Literally just popped into my brain.
I love that genre. So
okay. Cool.
So
neat.
Screw it.
Why not?
That's how prepared we are.
Dude, getting prepared for this show there actually was a lot. I didn't even consider it. The first mystery movie that I'm going to give you, I'm going to go ahead and do it because I love this movie. My boy RDJ, Sherlock Holmes.
Okay,
get it.
That's fine. I'm going to give you.
Give me the thing. You already know what I'm thinking. Give me the thing. I haven't seen it yet. Come on.
What?
Give me the thing with
yep.
The thing you said it. You literally said it yesterday.
You're gonna have to. I don't remember what I had for breakfast, dog.
Death.
Oh, Murder on the Orient Express.
That one. Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
I want that one. Sorry, I kind of force fed that.
No, that's a good one.
Okay. Plus, it'll get me ready for the sequel.
Yeah, we're all ready for Gal Gadot.
I mean.
Yes,
I lost my headset.
Yeah, that's accurate.
So, all right. Well, with that being said, guys, I want to hear all of your nominations, your best actors, your favorite movies of the year 2021. Jarrett wants to hear it. I want to hear it. Please reach out to us. You can find us on Facebook. We are at Silence Your Cellphones under the subcategory of podcast. You can find us on IG. We're at Silence Your Cellphones. You can email us, which is silenceyourcellphone, no s at gmail.com. If you know Jared or I personally, send us a DM. We love hearing that kind of stuff. My mom now talks to me all the time about movies, and I love it. And then YouTube. We have a YouTube kind of.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
that.
Please like and subscribe.
Oh, that's a good one.
That helps us a lot. And if you guys are awardees, I'll have to reach out to see if he wants to do it. But I know when the Oscars and Golden Globe, I know Dane McGlone, one of my really good friends, he's a big award movie fan. So I'll have to get him on here, see what he's seen over the past year, what he thinks are going to take home.
I'd love his take too on what he thought were.
Yeah, and he's definitely someone that every time he sees a great movie, he always sends me a message. He's like, dude, you have to. He was the first person that told me about The Last Duel. He said, whatever you do, see it. So, and he wasn't wrong. So
there you go. Dane's got a good taste.
He does have good taste.
Well, that's all I got for this one, bud. If you wanted to add anything, go ahead, and if not, go ahead and sign us off.
No, man, and we will. Is there a movie that releases this week? It is New Year's Eve, so I don't think there is.
I don't think so. But I can look real quick. Sorry, we totally blew past that. It's been a big episode. We warned you guys it would be a big episode though, so American Underdog. When does that come out?
It came out on Christmas.
Oh,
the movie actually has like a 98.
Audience. Does it really?
It's got a 98 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
I refuse to believe it.
Let's take a look.
The Multiverse of Madness, May 6th. Ooh, sorry that popped up on my thing. No, man, the only thing I see coming out January 1st, Met Live Cinderella. Not quite sure what that is. Yeah, nothing coming out this week.
Yeah, that looks about right. Well, that's good. That means I can catch up on some of these other movies that I missed this year.
Yeah, don't watch that musical, the Adam Driver musical without me.
Annette? Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, no, that's everything. Again, we love you guys. Thank you for 7 months of fun. We hope you enjoyed it. And until next week, and scene.